My biomechanical report is going to be written on what principles Lance Buddy Franklin uses during a one-on-one marking contest throughout an AFL game. Although he mostly covers every single biomechanical principle at some point in the contest, in my opinion, he mainly outlines three, with those being force, reaction, and stability. Force. During a one-on-one marking contest, Lance applies the use of force during his movement to get the ball. When he makes contact with the opponent, Lance abuses his immense strength and uses it in his favour, highlighting Newton's third law: for every action there is an equal reaction. When Lance applies his force, he shakes and releases the defence hold on him and positions himself in a movable situation. When maintaining and using his force, Lance alters the motion that his defender is aiming for, further highlighting Newton's second law, mentioning when force is applied in another body, it creates acceleration of the body in change direction. So when Lance applies his force, his body accelerates, creating a new pattern of force. Stability. During a one-on-one marking contest, in order to remain the winner of the contest, you have to use stability. Stability is important because if you aren't remaining stable and keeping to the ground and staying grounded, the importance of being stable is being able to hold your position against the opponent. This is especially important when a player is forward and in front of you. When a player is in a stable position, they are less likely to be pushed off and lose their position in movement. When in a stable state, a player is able to utilise their body in a more effective way to protect their space and utilise force.
I'm filming. Who's going
push
first?
Off and create space to mark the ball in the contest.
All right, ready?
Relating back to the Newton's laws, the third law, which is for every reaction there is an opposite reaction, applies to stability in a marking contest.
All right, we're not.
When two players are involving themselves in a marking contest, each player exerts force into each other. The layer that is able to develop better centre of gravity, better positioning of the body, can better withstand their opponent's force applied to them. When a player goes to plant their feet to jump against an opponent, the ground begins to exert an equal opposite force backwards. The way you react to the force is key in winning the contest. Relating this back to Lance, he is very good at applying and throwing his body around effectively. And when he pushes off and uses force on another player in a contest, the opposite reaction is the opponent losing his stability and not holding his position. When the ball is flying close to the ground, Lance is known for being very agile and being able to hold his position closer to the ground, continuously maintaining his stability no matter how much force is applied to him. Reaction. Throughout the process of winning a one-on-one marking contest, the ball isn't guaranteed to go anywhere. Reaction is immensely important. Lance is smart about applying his reaction skills when the ball is coming aboard. He is constantly on his feet ready to react and move. He is very smart at making last-second reactions when the ball is coming in. When making a leading pattern, he can notice reaction is about timing and anticipation. When in a contest, a fast reaction involved with the contest will mean the player will get a smarter edge on his opponent and will be able to time his usage of force and stability. Hand-eye coordination also plays a very large part in enabling Lance to get a reactive advantage. The player needs to react swiftly and react to mid-air movement to the ball, which can be attributed to wind and other various things. Linking this back to Newton's laws once again, the third law is applied in this scenario when a player reacts and makes a separate movement to their opponent by last minute pushing off their player will react by going the other way instead of the way of Lance in a one-on-one contest. After analysing and taking similar videos to what I recorded of Lance, it is obvious to see the similarities that I discussed in the first part. Of course, I have to state, Lance is a professional AFL player, so his skills are immensely better than mine. But after an inspection in the videos, I can analyse how I'm using his discussed biomechanical principles and making the marking easier for myself. I used force by really allowing the push-off. This push-off wasn't used in creating a leading pattern. I also utilised the idea of force on a stagnant mark. As you can see in all the videos, I would apply force. If we had to include Newton's laws, the second law would come into place. When Lance applies the force to make a lead, it would create a new leading pattern as he is disengaging with his opponent's grip on him and letting him get into a place to create the leading pattern he's looking for. Implementing this law of Newton's was something I tried to do, see if it would give me an advantage in getting the mark. As you can see in the video currently playing, I would start to engage with Tate. Then when the ball was sent, I'll make a split-second reaction on where the ball goes and apply the force to Tate, which leads me to create a new acceleration movement pattern. Taking that out of the contesting image. This technique is also something Lance Franklin does very well. In the clip now playing, Lance starts his engagement with defender, and when he can spot the midfielder send it into him, he then uses a hand signal to show where he wants the ball to be placed. After that, he implements the force and Newton's second law, pushes off the defender, disengaging and starting his leading pattern. Using the acceleration he got from the applying force, this is one of Lance's most used techniques to allow him to get open. This has also been utilised by many of the other great forwards in this generation. The next part I am investigating is stability. This part of it is more visible in stagnant marking contests, where a lead is not applied and is more of a one-on-one. Lance is very smart at this because he's really big and has a large frame, but he's also very coordinated and able to throw his body weight around, apply force, whilst also being stable and not losing his footing. This is visible in my video when in the one-on-one against Tate, I would keep my body in front of him, keeping my position. Tate would try to fight through the force, but through using the Newton third law of Newton, which is one every action there is an opposite reaction. Me staying my ground would be opposite to him not being able to break through the wall. I would build and hold my stability in position. Lance visibly uses stability in his favour by using his large frame and coordination to stay stable. This is something I tried to mirror in my attempt at marking the ball. My final biomechanical principle I'll be comparing to reaction is reaction. In a marking contest, being reactable to the ball is very important. Lance is able to react very well and adjust his body to allow himself to be in the possessed position to mark the ball. The situation that you need to react in are if the weather has a part in the ball moving, for example, wind or rain. This isn't the only time you need to react. If the ball is shanked, then you would need to react. In my video, Mr. Jones would put the ball in a position. I'll be forced to make appropriate movements in order to this, and this is very simple to Lance. In this clip, Lance didn't know whether his teammate was going to kick it long or short at him. So he kicked it short. He used Newton's third law to use the force to gain acceleration, hit the lead, enabling him to go back. In conclusion, the three biomechanical principles I looked into are force, stability, and reaction. These are very important for you because they all play a vital part in allowing yourself to win a one-on-one contest. Lance Franklin, a legendary AFL player, utilised the concept of levers effectively in marking contests, showcasing his athleticism and skill. In physics, a lever amplifies force, and Franklin uses his body as a lever to gain advantage over opponents. In a marking contest, Franklin often positions his body to maximise leverage. His long arms serve as the lever arm, allowing him to reach higher than his opponents when jumping for a mark. He plants one foot firmly on the ground, the fulcrum, and drives his other leg upwards, using the momentum to propel his body higher. This technique allows him to extend his reach even further, making it difficult for the defenders to spoil his mark. Franklin's core strength plays a crucial role. He uses his torso as a lever to shift his centre of gravity mid-air, adjusting his body position to meet the ball at the highest point. His ability to maintain balance and control in the air, coupled with his timing, enables him to outmaneuver opponents. Overall, Lance Franklin's use of levers in marking contests exemplifies his understanding of biomechanics and his ability to apply in the game, giving him a competitive edge.